I want to start out by saying thank you so much for being our guinea pigs on a conversation about generosity and Christian giving as a part of our Seeds to Branches generosity campaign. So again, thank you.
I feel honored to be asked.
It's really quite natural, though, to feel very, very glad and to enjoy helping others and giving to others. I think that's a very easy thing to do. And so there's obviously, for anyone who is able to help someone else, there's a kind of reward in just the joy of knowing that you have made it easier for someone else. So that I can really buy into easily. I think as a Christian, I start with a framework of thinking, a kind of putting my heart and mind in the right spot. But I'm a steward to try to take care of that and to use my energies really for his purpose. So I seek to say, how can I do that? What can I do? And you never feel like you're doing very much or you're doing nearly enough. That's the troublesome thing, I think.
And it's not about giving money, it's about generosity of spirit. And that's just an expression of trust in God and his faithfulness. So if you can get your eyes off of the dollar sign and get to the trust and faithfulness, there are a lot of people that don't have money to give, but they certainly give in other ways, from spirit, from heart, from interest in other people, from expression of care for others. Wow, those are humongous things. And those are things money can't buy. But they're certainly gifts that God asks us to give because he knows we can.
Now, of course, I know enough of your story to realize that your understanding of your call to giving and generosity is about how you are giving of your time. What kinds of things are you doing that are planting those seeds?
I've been on session for a while at Cordata Church. And during the year that I was not on session, I was asked to join the board of the Firs in Bellingham. I had gone there as a child, so I have a lot of history with that place. Our kids both served on staff there. It's been a fabric of faith for our kids, for us too, and actually our grandchildren. So it's a nice time to be able to give back, and that's a fun thing. For Presbytery, I was asked to be on the personnel committee that same year, and that's been very rewarding to hear the stories of things that other churches are doing, including ours, and all the way that we're growing in sharing the faith.
As a young man, going to Whitworth College as a student, because I hadn't been able to save very much. My parents couldn't really help much with tuition, but I received scholarship. So someone many years ago put money into the university, into the college, so that someone like me could attend. And so I had 4 wonderful years. I went back to be a teacher there for another 30 years, for most of my career. And it was truly a privilege. One of the things I'm doing now is I have the chance to serve on an advisory board for the School of Business. It's just been a lot of fun.
It seems to you like you're doing small things, but that end up having a big impact. It reminds me of some of Jesus' parables. There's a parable in Mark chapter 4 where Jesus talks about the mustard seed growing into this big flowering bush where the birds come and get shelter in this mustard bush or this mustard tree. Our generosity campaign this fall is called Seeds to Branches, kind of on that idea. What would you say to people from your experience and your thought about this, about how small acts that are within reach, planting a little seed, a little mustard seed here, a little seed of this kind here and there. Do you have a word of encouragement or blessing for others about small gifts having big kingdom impact?
God loves the giver who, having something small, still is able to be able to give a little, and even more so. So, wherever you are, whatever resources you've been given, you try to be as sacrificial and as extravagant as you can, while not trying to calculate what is the measure of this. Is it big enough or is it too small? I just, that's not something that God our Father is going to be worrying about.
I mean, just keep your eyes open. We're instructed all the time, you need to listen to what God says. But the other piece of that is keep your eyes open and then do something about it.
Recently, I've really enjoyed the invitation to serve on the commission that guides and mentors seminarians who are preparing for the ministry. And this sort of fits into my background as an educator to help folks who are finishing school and wanting to become pastors of churches. Truly, this is a very enjoyable thing to do, and I feel like it's going to have, as the church can continue to prepare new pastors as the church grows, it surely is something that is in the will of God to be to investing some effort so that these folks are well prepared for the ministry that they're going to have.
When I was a little girl, I must have been 4 or 5. It was something about the offering on Sunday, and I don't know how it came up. I don't remember anything about the circumstance, other than I probably didn't want to take my nickel and put it in the offering. And Grandma said to me, if you give, you'll always have enough. And for some reason, that stuck with me forever. We've always been provided for. Always. Even when we couldn't see how on earth, we were provided for in a different way sometimes than we thought we would be. But it was always enough. The opportunities to serve those around us through the church have been incredible. And I feel so blessed by that. It's helped me grow spiritually, to put it mildly.
For me, trust in the Lord is really the supreme thing to be cultivating along the area of generosity. Because if you don't trust enough for tomorrow, you will begin to want to withhold and hold back. And that's a tension you never lose, really. But you keep trying as much as you can to let go and say, Lord, I'm counting on you. You do plan for the future. You do have a retirement, but you try to say, how else do you want me to use what's remaining to build your kingdom? And let me just trust that I can give that away.
We're in your home at Birch Bay, and this is a beautiful place right on the edge of the water. Where did it come from? How did you happen to be here?
My mother and my aunt were offered this last hunk of family property in the 50s. And they would have family church picnics out here. They would have youth group people come out here. So that's how they got it. They deeded it to me on my birthday. It was a gift. It was an act of generosity.
Is there a story about one of the ways you're sharing the blessing of this property right now?
One of the members of our church had a contact in Sudan of a person who directs a seminary there. And he had a need to find a place to stay for a couple of weeks. So we're currently enjoying the visit of a family from Sudan. Very wonderful time of sharing about what they're doing in Sudan, and I'm glad it worked out.
When we came here in 2014, not having a place to live, you said, if you need a place to stay, you can stay here. And it was a huge blessing in our life. So thank you.
It was a blessing for us too,
Yeah.
and still is.